All right, good morning, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Here. Let's jump into this chart. We're going to jump in. Look at this 15-minute chart on NQ. I've got some precision entry zones drawn out already on what I'm going to be looking at here. All right, so you can see right now we're trading around 394, coming up on this 4-hour Pez zone. The ones that are pink on my chart are 4-hour zones, and the green ones can be anything from a 15-minute to a 1-hour. Okay, I hope I'm back. Had some technical difficulties there. Morning, Kim. How you doing, Peter? So you say you got to go to work early. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good day. I was somewhere in here jabbing, carrying on about these precision entry zones when I found out couldn't hear me. But these green ones can be anything from a 15-minute to a 1-hour. The pink boxes are going to be my 4-hour zones. And as you can see right now, we are currently coming up on a 4-hour zone. Question is are we going to get another rejection out of that? See back here in that area, rejection, rejection, rejection. We've had four rejections out of that area so far, and looks like we're coming up to maybe make a fifth here, possibly. Now we can get kind of bullish on this if we say we break it, get above it, and if we do get above say 415, 420, I'll be looking at this 500 area, another 4-hour zone, thinking they're going to try to drive it up to that. If they reject there, though, I'll be looking at this PEZ zone down here. It's about 100 points away. It's 295 to 300. And so right now, opening range for me in 2 minutes or so, less than 2 minutes, will be right here within this 125 point area. If we do break through that zone, we got the golden pivot down here. And then, of course, we got another precision entry zone down here is 185 to 195. We got a 4-hour zone at 105 to 115. And that's all we're going to really pay attention to until this market opens and see what it's going to try to give us today. Let me, the ATR is around between 8 and 10 on the 1 minute. I'm going to go on and switch down to the 2 minute for now. Let's see what happens here in the open. Not going to get too carried away. Kim, are you still there? Can you hear me? Keeping it kind of tight right now. They have not moved. I'm gonna wait and see once they put this the first 15-minute candle in. I'm gonna zone that out at something else I've been trying to keep up with. Yesterday was great using the 15-minute candle for a retest and the breakout. Well, the orb strategy, trying to implement it with the precision entry zones and everything else. Of course, yesterday I was done, I think, in 17 minutes, but and then I walked away and didn't trade anymore. That's a pretty big feat for myself, because normally I would end up trading throughout the day still, even though I was done, but I didn't trade anything else. I did pass an Apex eval this morning though already in pre-market. See, they wicked our 4-hour zone up there. See, EK's on there as well. Morning, EK. Look at old Peter. Took a bounce. 20 points. Peter's done. You going to work? I appreciate you showing up this morning, Peter. Have a good day at work. I'm still sitting on my hands at the moment. Glad to have you here. I'm going to try to sit this out here and see. I want to see it come down to this other PEZ zone down here and see what happens reaction wise down here. Although it may not come down here. Yeah, I've been trying to stay off looking at a 1 minute time frame as much as possible. I've been usually staying on the 2. Unless I want to get into doing some scalping, I'll get down on the 1 minute. See if we close below the 50 EMA here on this 2 minute candle. I don't know. They may come down here and just tap the top side of this PEZ zone right here around 305 to 310. This one's from 295 to 305, but I could see them tapping the top of this, you know, coming down and trying to get it in the zone of this wick right here and taking it back up. I don't know if I would want to front load on this though or not, because I could. If they do come down here, they might try to pierce through that, take that low out, and then take that pivot out. Or I mean, hit the golden pivot. Old Kim's rocking out. Good job, Kim.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
See what happens here. I don't know if we'll bounce out of this 15-minute zone or not. It depends on if they want to protect that low to the left. Let's see if maybe we get a bounce there.
Order filled.
I would think we'd get a bounce out of this zone, at least. Even if they want to keep taking it down, you would think they'd bounce this to about 345 before taking it on down. That is, unless they don't want to protect that low.
Order submitted.
See what they're going to do here.
Order cancel.
It's all right. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry about that, guys. One of my dogs is in heat, and so all my dogs want to go crazy. Fun times, I guess. Well, I see they got the bounce to 340, so that would have been a decent play right there. Now we're going down. What are we going to do? Hit the golden pivot here, maybe get a bounce from there. I don't know how well I trust that. Let me take a look at something else on this chart. Let's try to flip this over to the 15-minute real quick and see if we can get a better view of some things here. So, all right. 15-minute. Let's see. I'm going to say that it might be worth the bounce on the golden pivot. The ATR, well, I don't know. The ATR is a little high. We'll see. Might get a little retest at 300 here, and then they might try to take it on down. It seems like that's been the scenario for days, it seems like. And then on the days that they do actually push it up, it seems like somewhere late in the day, then it gives it all back. Although it seems like the market's trying to stabilize some, to me, better than it was 2 weeks prior for the last couple weeks. The action was better yesterday at the market open than this. Let me take us back to the 15-minute. Let's see here. All right. $265. That's a pretty big opening range right there already. I guess kind of be looking out for if they break out of this 15-minute. That's so close to that golden pivot, though. I don't know if that'd be worth trade. They drop out of the bottom side of the orb and then hit that golden pivot and bounce. There might not really be anything there. ATR is down to about 25 on the 1 minute. You know, maybe if they break out of this and retest the bottom of this box and then drop, maybe. I don't know. I think I'm just going to sit on this one for a minute, sit on my hands, see what it wants to do. I'd think that if they end up turning this around and break out of this 4-hour zone up here, break out of this orb, you'd be thinking we'd probably be headed to the 500 mark. If they break out of the bottom of this, we could be headed to the 100 area down here in this 4-hour box. And as of right now, it's looking more like it wants to go down than up. So you're a bull, huh, Kim? I hear you. I'm tired of it going down too, but I guess I am whatever the market wants me to be. I can be a bear if we need to be a bear. Although, you know, I like shorting, so. Wow, would have been a really good play there. Guess I should have took the golden pivot bounce. Well, I guess the question is, are we going to get the break structure here around 325 and then take it up out of the orb and out of that 4-hour zone up there? Although it seems like lately what they'll do is they'll get up here around 330 area and then they'll reject for another leg down and then do the same thing throughout the day.
Order filled. Order filled. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Well,
Order submitted. Order filled. Order canceled. Order submitted.
sure would be nice if they would just push it real hard. That's better. You gotta get above that 50 EMA. So next test is really going to be 370 probably. If they can drive it, if they don't turn around right here. If they break the 50 EMA right here where we're at, somewhere right here on this breaker structure. That is if they can get above the 50 EMA, which it ain't looking too great. We'll see. If they can keep driving up, and if they break through that 370, you know, I'd like to move my stop in, because if they drive this up, move my stop up to the 50 EMA, because if they do want to keep driving this up, typically what you'll see is they'll take it up, and even if they reject, say at 370, or they go up here to 390, they might try to bring a leg down to the 50 EMA to retest that 50 EMA like a magnet before they bounce it some more. Say they tag 370 and they're not too sure about it. If they can break 370, it's this wick right here that we put in this morning, 410. They break 410 and get outside of this orb in that 4-hour zone, you might as well be thinking we're going to be looking at 500. Maybe not straight up to 500, but I wasn't even paying attention. I'm way up there with this little 1 micro. We'll see if the momentum comes in if they break 410, if they don't reject. Could get a hard candle somewhere up in here. Now see, I moved my stop up here, and now my system wants to act crazy. Right here where this breaker structure is, because if they might try to retest that breaker structure, but then if it invalidates, pierces through it, then I want to be done. And my system's locked up. My stop is froze. So I might need to get out of this trade just in case something crazy happens here. Oh, wow.
Order cancel.
I had to close out.
Fill.
If y'all seen that, my orders were froze, and I don't know how many times I've gotten in a bad situation where the market does something crazy and my orders don't trigger. But I got a base hit out of that with 1 micro. So now I'm going to rotate to a different account. Yeah, I don't know. Something crazy's been going, what now, a week? At least for the last week or better. It seems like every other day something's going on with the data feed and everything. Outages here and there. See if they have enough fuel in the tank here to bust out of this orb in this 4-hour zone. Or if they're going to reject here.
Order filled.
I'm gonna put this stop right here because it's invalidated if it takes out that wick. That way I don't lose too much. But I'll put some risk there because I'd have thought that this thing would have already been through that. But it seems like it's struggling up here. And I'm going to keep my stops pretty close because I'm copy trading right now, funded account. So I'm not taking any risk with that. They're going to have to, they need to break out of this orb box because if not, I mean, that's the range. If they don't break out of the top of it, it could just be they're going to come back down here with a leg and, you know, get close to the bottom of this orb, maybe 275 or so. And start chopping already today. Back below this this 370 here. Been having problems with Trade since the fall. That's a long time. I never could get into using Trade. I tried a handful of times and I landed in Ninja Trader. I like Ninja Trader. It still has its quirks though. All right, we're gonna get the push out of the box. Or are they gonna retest right up here again and say, nope, we're going down? Everything is really overbought on the kill zone indicator, so I don't know, although it can hang out up there for 2 hours depending on what the market wants to do. And then get choppy. Kind of like what this is down here. It got up here in the overbought zone pretty heavy and then just stayed there. You start back here on this candle and it slow grinded up while the indicator slow grinded sideways until it finally got here. And sometimes that's what you got to do. You got to wait it out. If your price action is slow grinding up and you have say the kill zone any kind of indicator like this, SMI or MACD, weighted MACD, if it gets up here and starts doing this number right here, as long as you can sit on your hands long enough and pay attention to the indicators and not get chopped out, there's always that moment when it finally gets tired and then you get that drop right there. It's about timing it and knowing what to look for on the indicators. And typically when I'm talking about this, I'll be watching this indicator on TradingView on the 1, 2, and 5 minute. And when you're watching that on all three of them time frames and you can see the price action wearing out, and then you get your signal or you see some kind of break of structure, you know, or anything, finally get a big candle, you put up some risk, you know, and take the trade because, you know, don't jump in too heavy up front, of course, because then you got stuff like this back here where this wicked up. You also got to take into account that was the opening candle too, though. So patience pays. You just got to pay attention. If you pay attention throughout the day and you're trading all day and watching this right here and get in this chop zone and slow grind up and watch it enough times, you almost can just spot it every time and then correlate that with the time of day when this happens. Because you get into this particular time of day, late day, you know, that lunchtime area before you get to power hour, a lot of times you'll see moves like that. Well, the old barcode. It's almost like they're going to try to rip this to the top. Or what they're going to do. It's so hard to trust the way the market is been lately, but check this out. What if they, what is this back here? That's 428. We're at 400. I'd be careful. This could be a sweep for a hard rejection if they do try to act like they're going to take this out, because man, what a drive this is back here. Rejection, 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 reject, 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 reject. And now I don't know. It's pretty heavy resistance here. Don't get fooled into them busting out of the top of this orb box or something like they're going to run the 500 when they could just probably, let's grab a line here. Let's just grab us a box real quick just to look at something. Let's say that they do bust out. Probably have to watch this area right here. They really need to bust through this box. Wow, can't believe all this is happening so fast. Barely just got a chance to look at my chart. See, I don't even like how that wicked. As hard as they push that out, they need to push that again. The fact that wow, the fact this didn't push as hard as they just pushed that candle, you'd think that they would have kept pushing, but as soon as we marked that box on there, rejection. All right, I guess my nickname's Market Maker. I'm telling you, somebody's about to get stuck. I'm not saying that they're not going to break this and drive one up, but I think somebody's about to be trapped. The 1, 2, and 5 minute on my trading view charts, I mean, it's a dangerous territory to be thinking I'm going to take a trade up here. Let's look back here again. Seeing this is the 2 minute. Let's see what this, no, they're going to try to break out of that. Maybe not. I'm going to hop over to the 15 minute real quick. Let's look at that on the 15 minute. See what it looks like. All right. So what do we got back here? Yeah, EK, I mean, yeah, you got to be real careful with stuff, because the thing is, it's going to catch people. Because think about all the people that are playing just playing the orb strategy. I see stuff every day about how people it's all they trade. And if you got good risk management, that's fine. But it's like that's all they play. I mean, Yeah, we finally broke. That's a good break, that candle there. I mean, 391 was the low, 444 so to the top side. But I think what a lot of people don't take into account is they'll play the orb strategy. Well, if you're just solely going to trade the orb strategy, are you taking into account your liquidity sweeps and all that? The fact that you can look to the left of the chart and see all that rejection, and then we put our box in up here, because if we was playing orb strategy, I need to know that this is a possibility right here for this rejection, for a sweep and reject. And a lot of people, get in and not know what everything they could be looking at to give them a better game plan as far as the trade goes. And then they get stuck. There's a lot of people right now that are probably sweating. They're not too sure which way this is going to go. They act like they want to drive it up even though it's overbought. But now how many times have we seen it look like they want to drive it up just to end up down here at the 50 EMA or down here in this green box on one candle? I mean, I'm known to put up some risk on a trade like this right here, just because of the way the price action is, even though it's overbought, but I would keep my risk tight. I'm not going to do it today, but if they decide they want to drive this on up to the 500 area, I'll be looking to go short probably. And now that they've already did this with this here, if I want to go short, I mean, they barcoded this way, this, are they going to barcode and then leg up? Or are they going to barcode and come down? And then the question is, if they do barcode and come back down, they really need to break this sideways action for a good short. But then if they do that, you got the 50 EMA not far below that where you could get a bounce. So this is when you get into scalping, really, depending on how much room you want to give your trade to breathe and wait it out. But if you try to play the break structure to the downside here, you're going to have to scalp out because of the 50 EMA, unless you're okay just holding and see what happens there. When the ranges start getting tight within 10 or 20 points from point A to point B, I shouldn't say I start scalping. I mean, you see, I always follow my trades with stops. I get knocked out all the time and leave a lot on the table, but I'd rather get stopped out pretty close to my green than to leave my stop too far behind and it come all the way back and tag it and I break even. That's just not the way I like to trade. Now, if I have several, if I had 5 micros and then I scale out, I might leave one at break even just to give it time to play around and see how much I can really get out of it. Say I'd have been out of this trade. Had I took that short out of that box up there, I'd have took profit first at the break even here and then at the 50 EMA. Like say you would have maybe been there with 5, I'd have took profit at break structure here, 50 EMA, I'd have took one or two more, leave some on the table thinking we're going to come down and tag us green box, follow stop. I'll set my orders ahead, but I follow pretty close with my stop just in case you get the whip back like it's here. These little whip backs right here can, depending on what you're trading. When I'm trading NQ, the minis, this stuff right here can kill you because you'd be up really good and then get that fast whip. I don't know about you, but it almost seems like the market's listening to us and just doing what we're talking about. Should maybe quit talking about it and actually trade it.
Order filled. Order submitted. Order submitted.
See if they get it. Don't stop me out. Just drop. Come on. I need to take out the bottom of the candle. Come on. Wrong way.
Order filled. Order canceled.
Oh well. Yeah. I try when I'm live, I trade a lot. Well, I shouldn't say a lot different. I don't trade as much. You are correct about that. Because I don't know where everybody's at, their level and everything as far as trading. And I don't want to give I don't want people to have their risk level like mine. I mean, I've been trading a long time. It's hard to explain everything I'm doing sometimes. Like yesterday when I was done the first 17 minutes or whatever, I wouldn't be able to, I just couldn't do it because I'm too focused on what I'm doing and it's all happening so fast. I can't explain it at the same time. But I know there's reasoning behind everything I'm doing. Same reasons that I'm discussing now, the way we just went over that trade through that box up there and broke it down and why I thought that was the area they was going to maybe reject at. And I'm looking at all that in real time just for myself, and I can make quicker decisions without having to walk through it, if that makes sense. And then I would have took that trade, whereas I didn't take this trade. Normally, as soon as I threw that box up there and looked to the left of the chart, I'd have been in this, and just plan it out and throw a stop just above. I might have got stopped out right here because I keep my stop so tight when I do something like that. Like I probably would have had it just to the top side of this box, and these wicks would have kept wicking me out, but I would have kept getting right back in. And then I would have moved my stop up a little higher. Since it kept wicking in that same area, I'd move my stop up a little higher and wait for this leg candle that they got right here. And it's okay to manage it, because if you don't go in too heavy up here, it don't hurt you if you keep getting stopped out right here. You'd be losing, when you're trading for base hits, you'd be losing like, I don't know, not much. $10, $20 max maybe. If you're trading small for base hit, if you had 5 or 10 micros or something here and you kept getting popped out, that could add up pretty fast. But if you just trade 1 or 2, it's usually not that bad. Yeah, that just bounced off mine too. I don't know. I thought that I had mine set. I thought that was the 50 EMA. Yeah, I got mine set on 50. I don't typically have the 200 on my chart ever, unless I'm looking at something on a large time frame. Well, I don't use the 200 period anymore. I only used it when I was doing trading stocks and with options. That was a pretty good bounce off of it. I hope that it helps. I mean, that's kind of how I read the chart in real time. We threw in our box. It basically went down to the 50 EMA, which is what we was saying, because it was going to act like a magnet, and now we're getting the bounce up. Question is, now we're back to the top of the orb and in that 4-hour zone. Is it going to reject here for another leg down? Or are they going to try to take out 445 area, 450 and drive us up? I don't know. With like Kim was talking about earlier about it, it's just down, down, down. You have to be prepared to think we're going to get another leg down, especially if we don't break 450. They may get back up there and try that zone again right up here. Maybe tag 430 to 435, maybe the middle of the box, and get a rejection. Although that leg right there was able to drain the indicators off some, so they might try to be slick about this and drive this on up. We'll see. Now it might be worth taking a trade if they break this here, these wicks. If they can break that, we're definitely probably going to move to 500 pretty quick, but they're going to have to break it first. And noticeably, they need to break it hard, not get up here and chop around and break it. They need to move this up and just another big green candle like this one here, one of these back here. Not necessarily engulfing big candle, like not necessarily gotta be like this red one, but the way that just moved out of that box to the downside, if they break 450, if they do break it, I could see them putting in a green candle that big and almost shooting straight to 500. Our ranges are so wide with all the downside that the market's been doing. These ranges are pretty big as far as where they can move to before you find some good support and resistance. Almost got to the 430. We hit about 427, 428. Almost got to that box. Looks like more downside coming in the future, but if they bounce back off this 50 EMA again, or even if they sweep it a little bit, but don't take this low out right here, what they're doing is they're tightening their range. You know, we had this range back here, come all the way back up, extended it a little bit, and then bounced here. So if they can bounce here, they're tightening the range if they do, and then it might flag out to go up if they don't break this and take this leg on down here somewhere. Got to pay attention to them when they're tightening range like that. No new low, no new high. Next thing you know, all that pressure gets built up and it releases one way or another, like a spring. The ATR on the 1 minute's around 20. It seems like it's going down, and with the way the price action is acting, it seems like the ATR might go down quite a bit more. It's not really moving around like the ATR is that high. Well, it ain't looking like there's much to trade. Unless you want to scalp. Almost not even worth watching now all of a sudden, the way it's acting. And that's usually when one of them moves when one of the moves happen that you've been waiting on, is when it don't even look like it's worth watching. It's going to take off one way or the other. Well, it acts like it wants to. I just don't know if it has enough gas in it to do what it really needs to do. But if they can break that 450 area, it seems like 500 would be inbound pretty fast, but it's like it gets tired. It gets up there. The ATR just dropped like 8 points, and just like that, it was around 23. This type of price action makes me think, well, maybe I should sit on my hands. They're about to trap me. If I get in this, I'll be trapped. So they kind of was building this flag up here, thinking, being above that 50 EMA, thinking that they would try to drive us up. But it is really moving like a snail considering how high the ATR is. You would think the ATR was maybe around 10 or less. Oh, look at that. Now on the 1 minute, it's down to 12. Maybe that's why. Maybe it takes time for the ATR to catch up on the thing to what the price action's doing. Guys, I appreciate you showing up, hanging out with me today. I think I'm gonna get off here for now. Maybe come back later. I can't really trade this action. and then I'll be looking forward to seeing them updates in the P&L section. If they get some kind of action, hope everybody stays green today and has a good trading day. I'm going to go find something else to do before there's no reason for me to be trading this. All right, guys, have a great day. See you guys on the next one.